All right, y'all. I heard Ted Cruz gave an absolutely psychotic CPAC speech, so I wanted to go ahead and watch it with you, and we'll break it down.
Senator Ted Cruz.
Oh, man. Look, I don't want to be too much of a dick here and attack things that are, like, unrelated to substance, but that is... He has such an awkward walk. You can ask... I have friends who will tell you I've had a weird hang-up for years that when I look at somebody, if I feel like they are way too cognizant of their own walk and, like, they're thinking about how they walk, and it's like, try to walk normal, try to walk normal, try to walk normal, and it's just super awkward, I kind of have a dickish reaction to that. I'm sort of put off by it. It's a massive pet peeve. Awkward walks are a massive pet peeve to me, and Ted Cruz definitely falls in that category. Even his waving is awkward. Oh my god.
God bless CPAC. What an amazing sight. Thousands of patriots and not a damn mask in sight.
Literally everything is culture war to him. Every single thing. Imagine being, like, upset if somebody does wear a mask at a giant indoor gathering during a pandemic. Imagine being that obsessed with culture war stuff.
Obviously, everyone here is just following Stacey Abrams' example.
Oh. Okay, like 3 laughs in the room, and this guy he's so in his bubble, and he's so online, that he thinks everybody's going to get that reference. That, like, Stacey Abrams a couple weeks ago wasn't wearing a mask indoors when she advocates people wearing masks indoors, so he thinks that, like, everybody's up on that news. But, bro, not everybody is a massive political junkie who swims in this stuff 24/7. That even went over the head of the CPAC audience. Oh, God, he's just so bad at, like, sensing the mood of a crowd. He's so bad at, like... And actually, this isn't, like, a conservative versus liberal thing or right versus left thing. Like, Trump is good at sensing how to, like, surf the wave of the feeling of the crowd. Ted Cruz is just abysmal at it. Like, you can't reference some shit that nobody's gonna know. Like, I would have told him if he told me he was gonna deliver this line beforehand. I'd have been like, Ted, dog, nobody's really gonna remember that shit. But he goes with it anyway. And again, like, 3 people in the audience knew what it was.
We find ourselves at an existential moment for our nation. The threats in our country have never been greater. So I want to do something a little bit unusual for CPAC. I want to step back and go a little more philosophical and ask, what is this battle all about?
This is guaranteed to be stupid.
What are we fighting about in this nation? And I'm going to suggest that the fundamental conflict that is playing out across this great nation is a battle between power and liberty. The two are in fundamental conflict. We are seeing it every day. Vaccine mandates versus doctors and nurses.
What? Hold on. Now, wait a second. You guys know my take on the vaccine mandate. I believe in a vaccinate or test policy. So you give people the option. Look, if you really don't want to get vaccinated for whatever reason, then okay, but you have to get tested. Right? So I have what I think is like this middle path. I don't like a hard vaccine mandate. I don't do anything. But I don't know about you guys. I've never seen a poll on nurses and doctors specifically what they think about the vaccine mandate. But if I had to guess, doctors and nurses are probably overwhelmingly in favor of a vaccine mandate or some sort of policy like I just advocated for, like vaccinate or test. He says, like, He says it like doctors and nurses are on the side of not having the mandate. Okay. Citation needed. Like, source needed, dog. I don't know where you got that from.
Mask mandates versus kids in school. Spotify versus Joe Rogan.
Oh, come on. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I hate how conservatives are trying to claim Joe Rogan. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, he disagrees with y'all on like 75 or 80% of stuff. But they try to claim him because they know that he's really, really popular. So they're trying to like hop on the bandwagon and get like the trickle down popularity points. That's what this is.
Justin Trudeau and the God-fearing Canadian truckers. The New York Times versus Barry Weiss.
Oh, my God.
Levi's versus Jennifer Say.
What? Levi's versus who? Bro, he is so up his own ass in this stuff.
AOC.
Here we go.
Versus damn near anyone who ever dared to criticize her. Although actually, as she told us, if you criticize her, it means you really want to date her. If you look at this battle, this is not a battle between the weak and the strong. Joe Rogan is many things, but he ain't weak. Major League Baseball, which went after the voters of Georgia, the Georgia voters are many things, but they ain't weak. The Biden Department of Justice, when they went after parents. Parents are many things, but they ain't weak. Just ask Loudoun County. Just ask Terry McAuliffe. Just ask all the left-wing Democrats in Virginia who are scared out of their minds right now. You got to understand what is playing out here. What is playing out is the powerful are afraid.
The powerful are afraid. The powerful are afraid. Ted, you are the biggest supporter of the powerful in the world. This is a guy who supported every single tax cut for the wealthy. He wants to cut taxes for billionaires and corporations even more. The idea that he's like pretending to stand up to the powerful is hilarious. I mean, this is the epitome of faux populism. It's like posturing like you're with the regular guy, you're with the little guy, you're with the average Joe and Jane, while secretly behind the scenes, and it's actually not even so secretly because the voting records are public, every single vote you cast is to give the powerful more power.
Terrified of you. They look out at the men and women in this room and you scare the living crap out of them. They are afraid of truth. They are afraid of liberty.
On the liberty line gets under my skin so much. Does Ted Cruz support legalizing all drugs? No, he doesn't. Well, hold on. That's freedom and liberty. It's freedom and liberty for you to decide what you want to put in your body without any coercion from the state or locking you up in a cage. That's freedom and liberty. He doesn't support that position. Does he support legalizing gambling around the country? I don't think he does. Legalize prostitution? Does he support that? No. Well, these things are about liberty and freedom. This is about you deciding to do adult things when you're an adult, free of your own volition. But he supports cracking down on that. Does he want to let all of the nonviolent drug offenders out of the prison and end the drug war? No, if Biden were to do that, or anybody were to do that, he would turn around and say, why are you letting out these violent criminals? Why are you on the side of crime? So I hate when he just uses it as a slogan. He just uses freedom and liberty. He just tosses it around recklessly to try to sound like he's vaguely on the side of these high-minded values and principles, but in practice, he's not in favor of any of that stuff.
Fear is driving them. Let me suggest a principle, a very simple principle for conservatives to understand. Big is bad. Across the board, big government sucks.
I think this is dumb too. It depends what we're talking about. Yeah, I don't want big government as in I don't want a big NSA spying on everybody. By the way, Ted Cruz does. I don't want, a big CIA to overthrow democratically elected governments. By the way, Ted Cruz does. I do support, quote-unquote, big government when it comes to healthcare. I want there to be a single-payer healthcare system. I want to get rid of the parasitic mafia middleman that gets in between you and your doctor and just takes their cut and price gouges you. So when it comes to healthcare, I want a bigger government. I want Medicare for all. It turns out, Ted, not every part of the government is exactly the same. Different parts do different things. And some parts do negative stuff and some parts do positive stuff. And so to just talk about it as in big or small, good or bad, it makes no sense. You can't just say big government bad, small government good. It depends on which specific part of the government we're talking about. But this is a level of nuance and complexity that he can't wrap his mind around, or he can wrap his mind around it, but he's just a charlatan and a con man, and so he's giving his cut and dried performance here.
Big business sucks.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Ted. You are the biggest supporter of big business on planet Earth.
Big tech, big Hollywood, big universities. Any accumulation of power that is centralized is fundamentally dangerous for individual liberty.
Except his entire voting record is to prop up big business and big corporations. That's his entire policy agenda when it comes to how he actually casts his votes. So big business is good, but he's pretending like it's bad because he wants cheap applause.
Why is our liberty so under assault? Because giant corporations, giant tech, giant government, they work together hand in hand.
It's so ironic he's saying this. He is literally involved in a Supreme Court case to allow unlimited amounts of money in political campaigns. We already have very few rules on this front because there's been a number of Supreme Court cases since the late 1970s until today that have effectively ruled that money equals free speech. But we still do have some rules for some types of political spending. Like there's a difference between giving money to an individual politician versus giving to a campaign versus giving to a political party versus giving to a political action committee versus giving to a super PAC. There are all these different rules for the different ways you can spend money politically. Ted Cruz wants to get rid of all of the rules, thereby allowing corporations and billionaires to control the whole process directly and by politicians. He's involved in a Supreme Court case on this right now. As he's pretending, he's posturing like he's against these things. There's no other way to categorize this but flat out dishonest. Because he knows what he's doing with that Supreme Court case. And now he's just pretending like he's against, big business and big tech and centralized power. It's honestly astounding.
Billionaires, please silence these pesky truckers. By the way, the workers of the world had a revolt, and the left is pissed.
They were protesting over vaccine mandates, which is an issue that divides the left. It's not some sort of mystery as to why the left didn't support this by and large. Look, I opposed the authoritarian crackdown on the protests, as every good leftist should. But in terms of the specific issue they were protesting for, it was to end vaccine mandates. There's a giant split on the left in terms of whether or not they support it or don't support it. That's just a fact. The Teamsters Union, which represents most truckers in Canada, said they are opposed to this protest. 90% of the truckers are vaccinated. This wasn't just a working class uprising. It's flippant and glib and inaccurate to categorize it like that. It wasn't just that. Now, if they were protesting for unions for all, or higher wages, or more vacation time, or things of that nature, then that would have been that. Or to democratize the workplace, then that would have been that. But it wasn't that.
So what's the answer? The answer is threefold. Number one, fight power. Fight big government, fight big business, fight big tech, fight big Hollywood, fight big universities. Fight the centralization of power. Break it up. Break big tech up into a million little pieces.
Now let's see if Ted Cruz ends up pushing for legislation that actually enforces our antitrust laws, because Republicans on this are all talk. They say this, and then they run for the hills when it's actually time to crack down on big business and break it up.
Decentralize. You know, we just had Wayne LaPierre talking about guns. Why is it the left, when they seize control, they immediately want to take away everyone's guns? Because
they don't. Biden didn't do anything on that front. Obama didn't do anything on that front. Nobody's coming to take your guns, bro. All they do is argue against straw men.
Then the state has a monopoly on force. If the only people with guns are the jackbooted thugs, then liberty is gone. The Chinese communists and Elizabeth Warren, they both want to control you. Your assets, your savings, your speech, your life, your children, every decision they want to control. And so we need to break up the means of controlling the citizenry. I want an unruly, uncontrollable American, we the people.
This guy is such a goofball. Imagine comparing Elizabeth Warren to the Communist Chinese Party. And I will say about the unruly point, yeah, well, we had Black Lives Matter protests a recent past summer, and he immediately flipped out and wanted to, bring in the military. So you only want unruliness if it coincides with your own political affiliation.
Number two, don't ever apologize to the woke mob.
Look at how theatrical he is with how he talks. It's so put on. Ugh, it's so gross. You know he's not like this when he's, not doing his little theater act here. But low-key, that is true. Never apologize to the woke mob.
It doesn't work. They are not engaged in rational discourse. They are not actually offended at whatever idiocy it is they're whining about that moment. They want to destroy you. They want to silence you. They want to subjugate you.
I mean, it is true that even if people apologize, it's not like the apology is ever accepted anyway. So why apologize? I mean, you should apologize if you actually did something wrong and you feel like you did something wrong and it's just the right thing to do. But anybody who apologizes when they don't actually feel like they did anything wrong, it's like there's no reason to do that, because these days nobody accepts an apology anyway. They just view it as further weakness and further evidence of your, moral impurity. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Ted Cruz on anything. It's disgusting.
Respond with joy. Laugh at them. It drives them bananas. Okay, are leftists the least funny people on planet Earth?
No, Ted Cruz is the least funny person on planet Earth, thank you.
You can't say that. You can't do that. No, I don't like that. I don't like, shut the hell up.
He is hitting on what the general caricature is of the left in today's America. And it's a shame because, the left we need to reassert ourselves as look, what we're all about is unions for everybody, higher wages for everybody, paid time off, 4-day work week, universal basic income, end the wars. We need to free college, abolish student loan debt. We need to reestablish ourselves as we are the serious economic people. That's what we care about. We want to improve your life objectively. When it comes to social issues, we should be all about freedom and live and let live. So it's a shame that this is the caricature and the stereotype that has like really taken hold, but it is. I mean, that's the sad reality. That's what we're dealing with. And I'm doing my best to change that. I'm sure you guys are doing your best to change that, but this is the caricature. Now, I get it. This is like the forum of Republicans and the far right, so of course they're going to paint the most negative picture imaginable of the left, but it is also true that normies do kind of feel that way about the left as well, and that's a shame.
It's none of your damn business. If I want to get a vaccine, I'll get the vaccine. If I don't want to get the vaccine, I won't get the vaccine. And it's none of your business how I decide for me and my family.
It's funny, though, that they don't realize on that point, it's like, bro, we're trying to save your life. Like, I want to make it so that if you get sick, you're not going to go in the hospital, overburden the hospital, maybe die, and leave your family behind. Like, that's the real point, you know? Like, maybe there are some people on the left or some liberals who are just, like, mean-spirited and just want to badger people and it's all about power, but by and large, the sentiment is like, for the love of God, please get the vaccine because it'll be good for you. And they just refuse to accept that. They just want to act like, you know, oh, there's no evidence either way, I guess we'll never know. It's like, no, we have the evidence, we have the answer, and that's why people are so insistent on it.
That scares them because it's not controllable. And the third thing I'm going to say is speak out. Use your voice. Every one of you has a powerful megaphone to the world. Speak out and use your voice. 2 years ago, I launched a
in other words, own the libs harder and louder, bro.
Podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz.
Shameless ass plug.
All right, I want to say to everyone here under 40, please go and subscribe to my podcast. You can get it wherever you get your
If he's doing it, I might as well do it. Subscribe to Secular Talk. Love you guys.
podcasts. 2 years ago, we were the #1 ranked podcast in the world.
I'm going to need a fact check on that one, dog. I do not buy that one. You're going to need to show me a lot of evidence for that one. This dude was #1 in the world? What?
To everyone over 40, call your kids, call your grandkids, and ask them to subscribe you to the podcast.
There's like 5 people under 40 in that room, bro.
Number 2. Text the word cruise to the number 24005. Let me give you that again. Cruise to 24005. Why is that? Because we're using text, we're using the podcast, we're using email, we're using social media, we're using every tool to mobilize and energize a grassroots army because we are taking this country back from the lunatic socialist left that is trying to destroy our freedom.
You're not putting together a grassroots army. My guess is he's giving people this number because he wants to get all their information and their data so that when he runs for president again, he can spam them with emails about fundraising. But Ted, I got news for you. No matter what, you're always going to have to rely on those big corporate donors and billionaire donors because they know you're representing them. Maybe some dupes at the grassroots level think that, you know, you're somehow down for the cause of the average person, but we know who you're really representing, and everybody should know who you're really representing.
Let me say one final thing. In January of 2023, I'm looking forward to walking down the hallway in the United States Capitol and to bumping into a little man wearing overalls, carrying a screwdriver, and coming to change the sign on Nancy Pelosi's door.
I mean, I hate to say this because I want Pelosi to be primaried from the left and lose, but she, if she's alive, she's gonna win. Unless you're talking about changing the speaker thing, which she could lose her speakership, or, Speaker of the House. She could lose that. We'll see.
And Nancy is going to get on her broom. Okay, no, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Nah, Loki, that is fair.
She's going to get on her private jet, called
which is parked next to yours,
the USS Broom, and fly back to California. And we're going to send Chuck Schumer back to New York City. And then we're going to tell Joe Biden it's 2025 and he'll just wander back to Delaware. Change is coming. It is powerful. You want to know how powerful? Find me one person on planet Earth who doesn't know what "Let's Go Brandon" means.
Bro, epic meme, bro. You trolled him, bro. God, he's so insufferable. He's so online. He's so in this, far-right bubble culture. He thinks he's so edgy. You're just the world's most standard establishment Republican. Ugh, I feel like I need to take a shower after watching this.
And not just in red states. How many of you saw at the New England Patriots game in Boston the entire crowd chanting, "Let's go Brandon"? That is powerful. A wave is coming. We are taking our country back.
Notice, man, it's all around the vague slogans and the insular culture war stuff. There is no rallying cry for, higher wages or more vacation time or universal health care or eliminating student loan debt or even cutting taxes for working class people. None of this has anything to do with improving people's lives. It's all just red versus blue tribalism, partisan culture war bullshit.
We are standing up to power. We are defending liberty. We are defending the Constitution. We are defending the Bill of Rights. And together, we will save this great nation. God bless you.
Oh, my God. Oh, he's so bad. He's so annoying. I don't know how anybody likes him. I really don't.